This is an example of what happens when you give a guy a little bit too much time and a bit of a passion for parts to go out the door and really do the best I can, and hopefully that's what you guys see, and thank you for the support. Okay, welcome. Workshop update number 7. This is the time I kind of start saying to you guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, make comments, whatever you guys want to see, please let me know. I'm more than happy to talk about pretty much anything that you guys see going on in the shop. So this is a good time to do it. What's been going on? Quite a bit actually. We've been working on some stuff in the background as some new products which you guys might have noticed. Mainly the engine blocks, but then most importantly what's been going out the door, this is a couple of examples. Our RB26 drag intake manifold and another 2JZ GT or GE this time around in purple and black anodized, all full billet. That's been a bit of a fad of late. We went through a bit of a phase where everything was carbon fiber, but everything is billet lately, so just one of those things come and go, and things go up and down in terms of what people like and want to see on their cars and build. So it's really good seeing all these nice finished products. The billet stuff really stands out when it's just a plain natural billet finish kind of product. And the RB26 drag manifold, as well as the 2JZ drag manifold, which I'll put some photos up, have really started to get some traction. These RB1s are on the quickest and fastest RB powered cars in the world. We've got them here from the likes of Croydon with Zeus, and also the guys over at Murad with his Mac Daddy car, which has just been finished, and you guys might have noticed it's been out and doing some runs over in the US. Really looking forward to see the quality on that car. It's really been a nice build, and it's a pleasure to be a part of. Murad's been a really nice guy to deal with. I wish him all the best. We've also supplied some other manifolds for his other cars. I think we're talking about a VL Commodore that he's got, and they're talking about going really fast. We're talking bottom sixes, and if not faster, if it all goes well for them. And then on the other side of things, you've got Croydon Racing Developments with George and his VL, a similar kind of caliber car. I'd say that car is a little bit more detailed in terms of its finish. It made its debut at a recent show. And it really stood out from the crowd. That car has been a completely new rebuild from some guys you might know, Kyle at 6 Boost and Impress Fab. Those guys actually built the initial car, the whole chassis of the car, and then it was finished off at the guys at Croydon. You can really see the end result. It's a really well finished car. Really good about seeing those cars being out there and the results that they're getting. What else have we been going on in terms of the intake manifold side of things? I've got a bunch of 2Js that have been going out, and some RBs. I've got a nice, really nice RB26, so I'll put some photos up again, like a red anodized with a polished plenum. It goes to show the variety of colours that people can choose and pick and choose on all their combinations. So whatever you guys like, I'm pretty much can cater to as many colours as I can possibly offer. I'll make them available, and you guys can pick them all from their website. Just in case you've forgotten, www.cpc.store. We've also had other parts going out the door, which you guys might see advertised as well, is our RB30 core bracket kits. Again, I think I've mentioned it to you before, most probably one of the cheapest on the market, a complete bracket kit. So it doesn't come with the coils because everyone can source their own coils. It's not that hard. They're all in stock in either black anodized or a natural billet finish. Those are really popular. Also our billet diff hats for the Borg Warner 78 diffs. And I was starting to see a bit of an uptick, most probably because I'm starting to put them out there a little bit, of our sheet metal intake manifolds for the RB30. This is the sheet metal intake manifold that I started off back in 2003, I think 2002. That was the very first manifold I make, and here we are today. So, in terms of the transition where we were compared to what we're doing now, that sheet metal intake manifold was a factory set of factory intake manifold, cut down, had some internal bell mouths put in it, all sheet metal, all handmade, and then welded. That was, like I said to you, 2003. Fast forward 20-something years, and here we are making all billet, all CNC machined intake manifolds, as well as our carbon fiber offering. And it's a massive step from where we were initially to where we are now. And it's good to see where we've been, how we've progressed over time, I suppose. All right, that brings us to our new products. First of all, the RB26 billet cam cover sets. Go check them out on Instagram. There's been plenty of videos I've been putting up on there about where they're at and what their actual finished product looks like. Been getting plenty of attention for them. I've got a bunch of orders. They're actually going out next week. I just had to do some mucking around with the cam cover sets because there was a slight variation in terms of my previous versions to this one, but nothing really that anyone would notice. It's just me being picky. So those are actually done and dusted. I've got some, I've got an RB25 with variable cam timing cover set going out, an RB26, then an RB28 and an RB30 with some custom engraving on it. So they're the options that are all available. Feel free to swing me a message on Instagram or Facebook, or just go to our website. You can check them out on there. www.cpc.store, don't forget about that. Next on the list of things to do, which actually the materials just turned up for these, is the 4G54 rocker cover. Back when I was approached by a guy by the name of Christopher Miller, who's a 4G54 fanatic, he asked me to do some parts for him in the community, basically, and I said I'd be happy to help. I know a couple of guys locally as well that are into them. I thought, oh, you know, why not explore this opportunity? And ever since then, Chris has been able to move, I think, like 40 or 50 rocker covers, or maybe more, to be honest. So I've got another batch going through. He's puts together the numbers for me, and people simply come to me for payment. And Chris and I have got our own little special arrangement going on that he can get something out of it, so he's not, you know, left high and dry with doing all the hard work and me just making parts and cashing in. So that's good. Chris has been a great friend over the last few years and really supporting the 4G54 community, not only with the rocker covers, but also intake manifolds. So keep your eyes peeled or get in touch with Chris. He might be doing another group buy for the intake manifolds. But anyway, in terms of the rocker covers, they're actually just about to go in the machine, and we'll get those finished most probably by the time you guys see this video. They'll be all but done. Another product that's on the machines at the moment, actually we're just about finished, is the Lamborghini Audi R8 billet intake manifolds. These are made specifically for precision racing here in Sydney. These guys are the sole distributors of the product, so if you want one, please contact them. Don't even bother trying to come to me. I'll just send you his details. I'm not stepping on anyone's toes in this. This is an arrangement that Ariel and I from Precision Racing have come up with. I basically done the design on the manifolds and made some tweaks with his input in terms of getting the final fitment and all that kind of stuff to work really nicely. And they sell the products as part of their packages. If you haven't seen Precision Racing and their Lambos and R8s, I highly recommend you go over and check them out. These are an absolute masterpiece. These cars are really well put together, really well thought out, complete system. We're talking not only just the turbo side or the intake side, the whole package is really, really nicely set up. So hats off to Precision Racing, and thank you again for supporting CPC. I really appreciate it. Those 10 billet intake manifolds will be done in the next couple of weeks. They then do their own colors and their offerings in terms of finishes. A really nice final product. Again, like I said to you, check out Precision Racing. You'll see the end result. It's really, really nice. I thought I'd leave this one to last on the product updates. The billet blocks. I've mentioned it a few times. I maybe even mentioned it from video one. I'm not sure. This is something that I've been trying to get to. As you guys might or might not know, this operation that I've got going on here is very, very small in terms of the amount of stuff that we get through, and having long-term projects is kind of hard to get to them, but I have been making some time recently. We've been pretty much pushing as much as we can in terms of the machining side of things, of all the other stuff that's been going out, and leaving one machine free just to get these blocks sorted. I've finally made some time. We've got a block that's been a 2JZ billet block roughed out. So this 2JZ block is for drag use only. You might guess it's pretty easy to figure out who it's for Rod Harvey Racing, someone that we've been supporting since 2017, I think it is. He runs all our intake manifolds, intercooler, our billet cylinder head, which has got, he's got two of them now. We're pretty much finalised testing on that, but more on that in a second. He's got some blocks. He's got 2 or 3 blocks. One of them has been in the car for around about 10 years. And as you can imagine, it's seen some abuse over time. It's had some hurt. Inside of it has been hurt a couple of times. So it's only right to, you know, give him a fresh block. Not only supporting what we're trying to do here in terms of going down that block path or making blocks, but also continuing to support Rod. So that first 2JZ billet block has been roughed out, has been heat treated as well, something you don't really hear about, or, well, yeah, not locally anyway. So the block has been heat treated. That's something that we most probably doing different to our other guys, but then similar to some other guys overseas. But anyway, so that's something that's on the machine at the moment. When I get to it, I'm just trying to get to it at every spare moment. I was only thinking about this last night. I really should just come in a couple of weekends and really knock it over and have it done. But just trying to squeeze things in with trying to keep family time at a civil kind of amount is kind of important too. So anyway, so that block itself is not far off. We do have a race meet coming up, which is Queensland Jamboree. I'm planning to have that block on display at Queensland Jamboree. So I'll be up there supporting Rod Harvey with his program. As I mentioned before, he's got the 2 cylinder heads, 2 billet cylinder heads. They're both exactly the same. The first one has been taking a beating recently, has been going really well actually. We can't complain about that one. I think that's going to do some testing on that cylinder head. Then we're simply going to strip it down to check it again. And it's been testing last race meet and it was still on there, the cylinder head's still on the car. So we'll do some testing on that cylinder head before Jamboree. Take it apart, strip it, check it, and then we'll have 2 exact same cylinder heads ready for testing and ready to throw everything that we can at it. So obviously with that car, we've been trying to get on top of bits and pieces. Well, Rod, Ben and his tuner have been trying to get on top of things and trying to get the car sorted and getting to a point where they were a few years ago. And it looks like everything's going in the right direction. Really pumped about where that car is going and hopefully where it's going to be going and where it's going to be heading. So fingers crossed, we'll see you guys at Jamboree for that one. With the billet block, like I said, you on display, if all goes to plan. It should be. If it doesn't, I'll be pretty disappointed. But anyway, that's the latest on the blocks. What's next after that? Of course, it's going to be an RB. I can't help myself. I've got an RB. I've got a drag car project which I'm putting together at the moment, which desperately needs one. Again, I'm trying to do something a little bit different with those blocks, and I'm trying to make them a little bit lighter. Something that I've noticed all too often is how heavy things are and how far we can push them to get them as light as possible while still maintaining some structural integrity. Fingers crossed that works out for me. If it doesn't, I just blow it up and, you know, shit happens. It's my own car, so that's part of testing and developing and making new products. So that's where we're at with those. There are other blocks coming, yes, without a doubt. Currently scanning Honda K-Series. And I've already got the data for, I think it's an SR20 and also for a 4G63. Again, you guys will be updated as to when they're going to be coming along, but that's something I've got, that's, you know, me for the next 6 months, most probably, of my spare time. So that's where I'm at with those. So, all right, the shop itself, what's been happening? Not a huge amount. The renovations are actually going really well. I've got the office, the new office, completely boarded off. We're just waiting. The electrical roughing has been done. Thanks to my friend Nelson who's been doing that. And then we've got after that, I'm just waiting on the interior to be done, the internal walls of the office itself, so I can move this office over to there, and then I can come in here and do some changes in here. So fingers crossed, that's all going well. Look, at the end of the day, the job is not a major rush for me, and too much of a disruption really causes timeline issues with me. I'm always tight on time. I've always got work to do, so really stopping the shop is not a major priority for me, so keeping things going, rolling nicely is the main thing. That's about it really in terms of that. With the shop renovations, we're just making a whole heap of space for stock. I'm starting to run out of shelf space. I've run out of shelf space. I've got a bunch of stuff that's piled up on top of each other, you know, to try and keep it as semi-decent as possible, but I really need the space. Hence the extended mezzanine and the new office. And this will be part of my new grinding / assembly room. two separate rooms, and then over there will be, to my right, will be a lot more stock space. So fingers crossed that really works out over the next couple of months. I'm really looking forward to it. It's something this shop's needed for a really long time. And like I mentioned to you before, the shop is not big whatsoever. If you guys can do the maths, I think it's 130, 140 square meters on the floor, and maybe another 190 to 100 square meters on the mezzanine. So a really small shop to fit in all that I do fit in. 4 CNCs, a big guillotine, welding, or 2 or 3 welders, folders, etc., etc. So I really got stuff crammed in here, and I just try to do make the most of what I've got. So what else has been happening, I suppose, in the industry itself? I touched on it previously. There are a bunch of RB powered cars which are really starting to hit the scene. This is really heating up in terms of not simply being a GDR thing, which you've seen going on for a few years, but there's a couple of VLs that are coming out which will really heat things up. Not only that, but then there's also the drag RB scene, which is really heating up. I've got more and more customers switching to our 2JZ drag manifold. Very similar to this, the same manifold that's used on Rod Harvey's car, has been for who knows how many years, and that's really starting to prove its worth. The races themselves, though, as I mentioned to you before, Queensland Jamboree, the biggest import race meet of the Australian calendar. Without a doubt, it goes over 2 days officially. I think there's almost 2 or 3 days of testing. That meeting in itself is always massive. Queensland Raceway always puts on the show really well. Hats off to the whole Jamboree team. That's a really well organised event. Massive crowds. Hopefully the weather's good, and it usually is, so fingers crossed and knock on wood that it's not a bad one. But we're really looking forward to that. Like I said to you, mentioned before, the likes of Rod Harvey, and then we've also got Rob and the guys at Croydon. They'll be turning up with a whole suite of cars like they usually do. They've got Rob's own personal Zeus car, the R35. Yakuza, which belongs to the same guy, George, which owns the VL, a bunch of other cars. So he's going to have surely at least 2 or 3 cars up there. And then we've got, I think Pete with his RH6, so the R33. That only yesterday went like a 661 at 213, I think it was. That car's really starting to show its capabilities. So really looking forward to Jamboree and being up there and being a part of it. It's always a good thing. So fingers crossed, everyone goes well, everyone stays safe, and there's good racing at the end of the day. So I look forward to it. All right, so that leaves us closing off episode 7, I think I said, of our workshop update. As you can tell, still plenty of stuff going on. I think I actually forgot to mention our CSF stuff. We've got an absolute bucket load of that stuff finally machined. I actually sat down and just bit the bullet and held up a couple of machines just on their stuff only. So that stuff continued to fly out the door, and congratulations to CSF on that. So where are we at? Plenty of stock going on, plenty of parts going out the door. It's really good to see that the support that I've been getting. I really appreciate it, and I'll keep on going on about it. I'm most probably the biggest small shop going around. Me and one other guy in here. Leo looks after pretty much everything that I don't. So he looks after assembly of parts, QC of parts, doing some running around. He gets machines prepped up and running. You might even hear some in the background. That's Leo keeping them running. So really good to see the shops continues to steam ahead, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. I've never really had a dead moment or time, so I'm really grateful for that. And I'll continue to put the money back into the business and continue to make products. So I'm really looking forward to the next 6 to 12 months and what we can come out with. This is an example of what happens when you give a guy a little bit too much time and a bit of a passion for parts to go out the door, and really do the best I can. And hopefully that's what you guys see, and thank you for the support. So appreciate it. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Check out www.cpc.store. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks again.